What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Quentin Flores. This is Uncut with Q, where we talk about all things business, all things entrepreneurship, becoming hardships, and all the above. Guys, this podcast has completely just blown up, man. We're at 150,000 downloads across all streaming platforms, and we've honestly had a lot of positive feedback, and it's been great. You know what I'm saying? So I'm super excited about the direction that we're going. And so if this is your first time listening, you guys already know there's a value exchange. The value exchange is if you like what you're hearing, if it gave you perspective, if it challenged the way that you think, share the show. And so, guys, you know, if you don't like the show, then just don't share it. It's all good. But if we give you value, which is always my goal in this show, and I say this every single time, is that when you listen to it, you become a better person. You become a better leader, you become a better father, you become a better man of faith, become a better business person. And so, yeah, man, let's go on ahead and break this down, dude. So I have a different type of show that we're doing. And we kind of did this before, but not really. It was kind of just me. And so I like this because this is going to be something that we're going to do a lot. Plan on doing these probably once or twice every week. And so I had a lot of feedback for the episode that I did. Because, you know, it's so funny when I brought my friend Earon in. Earon, say what's up to everybody.
What up?
When I brought Earon in, we were just talking about, I was gonna interview him about a story, you know, and then it just went into a totally different direction. And it's actually one of my most downloaded episodes in the show. And I had a lot of you guys reach out to me telling me that was straight up gold. And, you know, Earon and I, we both have had the opportunity to build systems and businesses and different endeavors and different niches that we've been a part of. And, you know, we really just shared knowledge on that last session. Like, truthfully, bro, our synergy is immaculate, dog.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that most people, I think me and you we've done so many things together that it felt natural to just be like, okay, let's just talk about stuff that we're passionate about, stuff that pertains to our businesses, stuff that pertains to ventures that we want to do right now. And that resonates with what people are seeking. Like, it's cool to have the inspirational story. Everybody loves stories. We want to tell stories.
And you have one too, you know, we'll get around to it eventually.
But I think most people, what they're seeking right now is practical, instructional value that they can take home and implement right now. What can I say that from this episode I watched with Uncut with Q, I have one actionable item that I can take away, like you said, to be a better father, be a better man, be a better husband, be a better spouse, be a better businessman, entrepreneur, capitalist, you know? So I don't know. I think that's what it is, bro. And like you said, our synergy, like we have the same type of goals and the same type of personality. So it just like,
we have similar businesses. Let's just be honest too.
Yeah,
so
facts.
Like anytime we ever do anything, Earon and I have pulled off events where we were doing workshops and we would just do the announcement the week of. Mm-hmm. No build up, no crazy pictures, just random posts on social media. And then boom, we filled up a whole room. 100%. Hundreds of people coming in from all over the United States.
Flying out, exactly, from all over
the
country.
And it's just crazy because I don't think I've ever seen, I mean, I'm not going to say it hasn't been done before, but the way that we do it is just so damn easy. It makes it look flawless, you know what I mean? And like it's not hard.
I think we in the impulse of creativity, we say we're gonna do this because there's this incredible way we can serve people, and then like 3 days after making that decision, we're like, yo, why did we commit to this? We end up throwing the event. It ends up being a smash, and we end up growing from it too, which is crazy. I feel like every time we've done something at the other side of it, it's been, you know what I mean, like a new chapter, a new era. It's crazy.
Yep. And it's always awesome, bro. It's fun. I can't ever say that doing these things isn't fun.
Yeah.
So, guys, y'all wanted Earon to come back. I had a bunch of y'all message me about it. So this is a new segment of our show with Uncut with Q. This is Q&A with E and Q. And literally what we're doing right now is I'm basically, if you go to askquentinflores.com, you will be able to see a link there where you can submit your questions. And then Earon and I will read them off. And we'll kind of give you our input on what we feel is going to be the best approach for whatever situation. And so, guys, you know, I'm not unreceptive to anything. So I don't care if it's about business, if it's about being a better person, whatever it is, you know, drop the questions on the website and we'll answer them live on this podcast. We'll do about 3 or 4 of them. And so that's kind of what this is going to be about. And I already got a bunch of questions in front of me. This is pretty awesome. And let's just go on ahead and read these things off, man. This right here is a solid one. And I like this one because I feel that a lot of people that are listening are at this level. They're either hardcore operator in their business and trying to become owner, or, you know, they're just straight up hustling like every single day. Like they're not just the operator in their business, like they're everything. Their transaction coordination, their system, XYZ. And so this guy says, Earon, this is a question for you. He said, Earon, when do you know it's a good time to automate a business? That's a good question.
That's a good question. When do you know when is the right time to automate a business? Man, that's such a good question. So I'm going to answer this from the standpoint of if I would have known what it meant to automate a business, how to automate a business, and why I should automate a business, if I would have known that information when I got into business as a wholesaler in 2018, when I went into business for myself, I would have went into business with the perspective and the outcome to automate this as fast as humanly possible. But I didn't. I came into the business with the goal to create an office with a bunch of people that I was feeding a fantasy as opposed to a business venture for me. So I believe the answer, if you're asking for what I've done in the past, it is I've tried to build a lifestyle in a business as opposed to go into business the responsible way, saying, how can I automate processes that happen without a human or with as little human interaction as, how can I do that as fast as possible? That way I can speed up my production and, you know, waste less money, essentially. So now watch this. In other businesses that I've started, I go into the business with, how do I automate that? How do I go into this where I don't have to do that, and that? What is the highest and best use of my time? First of all, what's my role in the company? Because I own a company where I'm not even the CEO of it on that one. And then I have, you know, two where I am the CEO. The interaction with those companies are completely different. But what's my role? Based on my role in that company, what is my highest and best use of time in that business, right? And then everything else needs to be delegated and automated. I go into the venture with that already. So I know that was a scenic way to like answer that question, but I wanted to like cover all grounds because I can't pretend like a superhero. Like I knew that from the beginning. You know what I mean? That I definitely made mistakes there.
You know what, man, like for me, I try to take the bull by the horns every single time.
Yep.
And I've made a lot of mistakes doing this, but it's actually worked out for me. And based on experience, whenever I'm trying to automate a business, so I focus heavily on marketing, bro. That's always been my main thing. No matter what it is that we do, marketing never stops. As a matter of fact, we 10x the level of marketing that we have. I mean, think about it, bro, this production company that we're in right now, it started off just me and 4 people. It was Ernie, Jack, and Mia. And then out of nowhere, I brought in some clientele. Then things got wishy-washy because we realized that we took on more than we can handle.
Chaos mode.
Yeah, which is my favorite place
it's
to be.
It's talked about in the principles. Ray Dalio's The Principles.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And so I love being in that area because it forces you to level up. And so at that point, you know, Mia, Jack, and Ernie, all of us, we put our heads together and we started bringing on staff. Staff turned in from virtual assistants to in-house staff. Next thing you know, we're now operating a full-blown business. We have like a full-blown staff, both overseas and in-house. And so now we're ready to take on more clients. Now it's time for me to ramp up the marketing again. And so that's what I think. You know, business is a combination of you're gonna know it's the right time to automate a business when you get to a point where you're making so much money, you're losing money because you're making so much money. And so once you get to that point, you take that too much money that you're making and you use that to hire an individual that can help you make too much money again. And then you repeat the process over and over and over again.
Yep.
Every single time, you must bring your business to a point where it's making so much money that you're losing money.
Yep.
You can't spread yourself too thin.
Yep.
Eventually, you'll have a staff. Eventually, you'll be able to understand the exits. And then you can start automating all of the other tedious processes that are involved with whatever it is that makes the machine move.
100%. I love that, man. Yeah. I think there's also levels to automation. For example, when you first start out in a business, the first thing that you have to focus on is marketing. Like no matter what business you're in, right? Like you need lead gen. All right. Now and by the way, this is whenever you're ready to fulfill whatever you're marketing for, right? But it's marketing. It's generating leads. It's people who could be interested in your product or service. All right. So in the beginning, we're focusing a lot of the time on generating marketing for our business, getting the message out there, preaching the message of our business. Then once the eyeballs are on us, then we have to work on sales, converting those eyeballs into paying customers or clients, right? And then fulfillment, right? So in certain aspects of the bit, like in the beginning, oftentimes, like you said, we're running all of the different hats. So I go into the business saying, okay, as a business owner, given my role, what is my highest and best use of time in this business? And whatever that is, I have a plan of, okay, I have to right now do the bookkeeping. I have to right now do the conversion and sales. I have to right now do the operations and fulfillment. I have to right now do the PR, whenever something bad happens and, my service is involved with something that, gets on social media. I got to handle all of that right now. I have to handle the supervision for the sales staff. But at some point in time, like you said, whenever we're losing money because we're making so much and now we're dropping the ball in key areas, then we have to know what items need to be automated and delegated as soon as humanly possible. So person who asked that question, the fact that you asked that question, you're a highly intelligent person. And I hope that answers it and gives you some good some meat and potatoes to take home.
Do what you do best and delegate the rest.
Facts.
That's like,
I heard that first from you actually a few years ago when you were just starting Ground Zero. I remember that was one of the videos that you did. And I remember you were in a hallway, you were exiting an elevator, and you were talking about one of your mentors. And you said your mentor, this is one of the greatest pieces of advice. And you said that he told you to.
Yeah, I still live by that today, man. Honestly, that changed my life, just even hearing that one thing. I love it, bro. I love it. That was a beautiful answer to the question. So this is a big one. Q, and this one's for me, is what is the new wave of business right now? Is it real estate? Is it options trading? Is it e-commerce? Is it virtual
question.
Staffing? How come you're not focusing on real estate anymore? That's a big one.
They asked you that? Why are you not focusing on real estate anymore?
I am, actually. I just don't promote that all of the time. I went through a rebranding, guys, and I'll be honest with you. This is my answer to the question, and then I'm interested in hearing your opinion on this too, because I know we're both pivoting too, this is a great question.
This is such a freaking good question.
Yeah,
good
man.
job,
this
questioner.
is from this is from some guy on Instagram, but
shout out guy on Instagram.
I love real estate. I'm in the middle of 4 flips right now.
Nice.
I have a rehab right behind my office. We purchased it for $275. I'm all in 80 grand so far, and I'm gonna list it for 550.
Nice.
And so I'm praying that it sells for that much.
Yeah.
And right now this market's crazy,
Yep.
but the real thing is, the new wave. I don't look at it like anything new's happening. I look at it like Quentin's evolving. That's what I look at it like. And I'm not pivoting because I feel like real estate isn't still worthy of my time, because it's still a phenomenal business, and the tax benefits of owning real estate and buying property is immaculate. You can't just not have real estate. I love when Drake says this. He says, how can I address you when you don't own property? You know what I mean? Like, I take that to the heart. So I'm glad that I own real estate. But at the same time, there's a lot of lucrative things that are out there. You can make 7 figures, brother, just being a real estate investor? Very easily, actually. You could have 10 properties, each one valued at over $100,000, and your net worth would be X amount, depending on if you had loans, right?
Yeah.
And so getting to 7 figures is one piece of the puzzle, but the real equity, the real buildup in building actual wealth and systemizing a process is in building big business.
Facts.
Because equity
on, man.
in
You're
a big
preaching right
business is everything.
Yep.
If you can take a company right now that's valued at $600,000, automate it, systemize it, apply a formula where it's scalable, and it could potentially go from 600,000 a year to now 1.6, 1.7, and that I'm talking millions of dollars here. A business like that is valued at upwards to $10 million. So I could acquire a business, let's say for 600,000, that's producing 500K a year, automate it, scale it, reconfigure it, get it to 1.8, and I have a business that's worth 10 million. I could exit that company, move on to the next niche, and build it all over again.
By the way, for those of you that don't know, you can sell your business for a multiple of whatever the revenue is, the top line revenue is. Right? There's multiple different ways that you can evaluate a company, but Q is talking about selling a business at a 10x multiple. So that is 100% possible. But think about the cash flow. How many properties, how much leverage would you have to go in on properties over a lifetime career in real estate, by the way, to do what one business can, to cash flow you, what one business will cash flow you, and then the exit strategy and all that. But I interrupted what you were saying. I just want to make sure that there's people who understand. We know this stuff, you know what I mean? But
it's crazy, bro, because you and I have already seen the other side. We both have the same mentor too. Like Preston's one of your mentors as well,
absolutely, right? Yeah, because of you. 100%.
And I love that dude. You know what I'm saying? So, seeing the other side of it, there were people that I once saw that were mentors that are local here in town. And I saw a previous mentor. I say previous because there's just no longer alignment in where I want to go and where this guy has been. And that's fine. I'm not saying that he's doing bad. I think he's doing amazing. You know what I mean? And I really look up to him and I respect him. So what I'm about to say isn't a shot at it, but I heard him say that I'll probably make 2 million this year. And in my head, that's crazy because to me, that's already been made within 4 months of owning an e-com business.
Gangster.
And so I'm not saying that as to knock what he's accomplished. I'm saying that there's perspective to it.
Facts.
He may have tax benefits, but I have much more income coming in because of big business. And so when I look at it like this, man, it's not that you're not seeing more real estate. It's not that there's a new wave of business. It's just that people evolve over time. Yep. I used to think that my level of success was going to be determined by the size of the apartment complex that I was going to purchase. And that's not what I want anymore, man. I want 1,000+ employees. I want national notoriety. I want to be able to shake hands with the President of the United States. I want to be known by over 1 billion people across the U.S. for my expertise in business. I want to be a renowned speaker as well who can influence and change the lives of every single person that he comes into contact with. That's my new outcome. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's like literally what I want now. So it's not that there's a new wave of business. It's just that I've seen the other side and the evolving happened. You know what I mean?
There's 2 things I have to say to that because I want to talk about the question as well, which is what is the new wave in business? But first I want to address what you just said right now about, you evolving as a person. At one time you were Q who used to sell the stinky weed. Now you sell the stinky houses, right?
I remember that.
And you have grown as a person. You've evolved. You have a new outcome. And here's what I've seen. Some of the most successful people that I've admired, that I look after, you included, look up to and follow after, they are very keen on their ability to recreate themselves. Some of the most successful people have images of themselves that drive them. They have an image of themselves, an outcome, an ideal version of themselves or an ideal version of life that drives them. It's why Dragon Ball Z is so exciting, I think, especially to young boys and competitive people. It's like it's the person fights and pushes, and there's a certain point where they break through to another level. That is so telling of life. right? And there's something about successful people that have the ability to recreate themselves whenever they feel like there's nothing more at that level anymore that excites me. And now I need this to pull me and compel me. So I got to say that first. I love that about you, and I'm the same way. I'm a chameleon, man. So other people think that it's like you're not consistent. No, I'm consistent for as long as I need to be until my objective has been achieved, and now I have another outcome. You know, and some people, by the way, will take this as being like cold and calculated, and they can view it however they want. People will have their own feelings, but we will create the wave that other people are surfing later on. It's just part of the game. You know what I mean?
It's true, man.
It's very exciting, right?
It is. And I love it too, because I get to see my friends also pivot as well. Mm-hmm. And you realize that there's just like this never ending circle of growth once you get into entrepreneurship. Yep. And it's like the circle of growth versus like on some Lion King status stuff, you know, mm-hmm. The circle of growth, the circle of growth instead of life. You know,
can
you
y'all
really
auto-tune that and make sure that that was on pitch.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. By the way, I can sing, but you know, it's powerful, man. It's powerful. So to answer the question, I don't believe that it's riding new waves. It's just you evolving as a person, mm-hmm. and new opportunities come at new levels. Yep. And so, you know, just make sure that you guys are open to it, because you might miss an opportunity of a lifetime thinking that you should, you know, there's this thing that I heard that my boy Robert Sutcliffe, who was also a mentor of mine back in the day, but I love the dude to death. He says the ends are in the trends and the niches. The riches are in the niches. Mm-hmm. The ends are in the trends, and the niches, the riches are in the niches. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I love that so much, because he rides those trends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so just make sure you guys are open to it, because you might miss out on an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah. With that said, I actually still want to address the wave of business. I do think there is a new wave of business. I think the new wave of business that's going to make billions and billions, it's going to make a lot of millionaires over the next 10 years, and that is self-education. And the reason why is because many millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, people understand now more than ever, they see it, that higher education is doo-doo. It's trash. To many people, it's worthless. I don't even want to give a disclaimer, but I know I have to give a disclaimer that if you want to do something that like being a doctor or an attorney, that you have to do it. But I'm talking for the vast majority of human beings that just want to operate and live an okay life. College and higher education is the worst decision that you can possibly make. Like, you're going to start your life off in debt, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And it's crippling the economy. It's making people, and by the way, over 60% of people who graduate in college don't graduate with something in their field.
It's right? Crazy to me, dude.
But imagine if you have that same person who started a wholesaling business or started an e-com business, right? In 3 years of compounding effects and effort. Where will they be in 3 years, Q, as opposed to somebody who is now finishing off college 3 to 4 years, starting off life in $60,000 to $80,000 worth of debt and no life experience? They are screwed in corporate America because corporate America hates millennials, and they don't even want to mention Gen Y, Gen Z. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so with that said, people are now seeing, dude, I can go on the internet and I can build an e-com business. I can sell t-shirts. I can flip stuff. I can go out and through this side hustle generate $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month on the internet from my laptop. I can stream and generate more money through affiliate marketing and enjoy what I'm doing and do it from the comfort of my house. Like dude, millennials and Gen Y and Gen Z, while they get you get the stigma and taboo of being lazy and entitled. We are not lazy and entitled. We are innovative and we are efficient. Lazy, they say you don't go out and work because we don't have to. Like, I don't want to go and labor and toil with my hands. Most millennials and Gen Z, Gen Y, we don't want to do that because we know that on the internet I can sit down and like be on my phone and make money.
Learn a whole craft.
Yeah, exactly. That's not lazy. That's innovative. right? And so I say all of that to say this because I'm making a point to answer this person's question. People need to learn skills.
Yep.
And many of us have skills that we know, right? Whether it's learning a language. There's a girl that we know. Her name is Jenny. She's from San Antonio. She used to be a wholesaler. Guys, she went on TikTok. I don't know if she's monetizing it, but she went on to good.
She has education classes.
Lovely. She went on TikTok and she's teaching people in shorts how to learn Japanese. It's very simple. This and she has hundreds of thousands of followers, engagements.
She's at 1.4 million now.
1.4 million, guys, just teaching people. Now, she's an American girl who was wholesaling. Who would have known she was sitting on a treasure chest of a skill set, which was her knowledge of Japanese, that she could monetize, turn into a whole brand where 1.4 million people are going to follow you and be able to allow you to live your life from home. She's doing these TikToks from home. So my point is this. Self-education. Do you have a skill, a language that you learn? Do you some sort of knack that you know? You can teach this, put it in a Kajabi course, and market it out. And do this as a side hustle. Build a brand around it. Start making reels and shorts, and start making $10,000-$15,000 a month.
Yep.
Build a community around it. You know what I'm saying? So that right there. By the way. Department of Labor, guys, this is not me. The Department of Labor is projecting that self-education business will be a $1 trillion a day industry in the next 15 to 30 years. It's already a multi-deca billion-dollar industry.
Yep.
And here's what I hate. So many people do on the guru. Right? Because
true, man.
they say, oh, these people who are, and I know that there are some people that steal money and are scammers, but this is a necessary field of business that anybody can get into, anybody can claim their share. There's more than enough abundance and you can make a lot of money.
Being famous too, man, isn't even tied to fucking having what did you say? You don't have to be a movie star to be famous anymore. You need a cell phone and solid presence on a social media platform.
And it's relative to what you need to convert. Fame is relative to what you need to convert. You might only need 5,000 followers to convert at a level that makes you the amount of money you need to live your life the way you want.
One of the things that I love, man, I mean, look at this. Like, there's this guy that's out there, super controversial guy, too. I mean, he is doing nothing but drawing a line in the sand with his content. He says the most bland, open stuff that you could ever possibly think of. His name's Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, bro. And right now, he is the most Googled man in America. It is his season. He's been creating content for a few months now. He's taken off like crazy using his social media outlets.
He was the most Googled man in America
right now. Yeah, he is above Kim Kardashian, and that's heavy.
That's control, bro.
Yep, that is. And not to mention, he has an education program.
Yep.
So he has a program called Hustlers Academy. And essentially, it's something like that. Essentially, when you join it, it's $50 a month, and it caters to any way that you ever want to make money. If you want to option trade, there's education there. There's also community. If you want to learn how to make money in your fitness, like becoming a fitness coach, personal trainer coach, there's courses in there. There's real estate courses, everything. All of this, $50 a month. Yep. And he's reaching millions of people who can tap in on this. Yeah. Not to mention, you can also get paid to repost Andrew Tate's videos. And you can affiliate market his stuff. So he's splitting it with you 50-50. Yep. And he's making you go out there and push the product even further.
That's right.
So if you don't even want to teach it, you can still make money. If you don't want to learn about it, all you have to do is just sign up as an affiliate, post content of Andrew Tate, and whatever goes viral or signs up through your link that you have shared in the description of your video, you get paid for, bro. So this is where we're at right now. And this is a very prime example of the point that you just made. So yeah, man, don't sleep on that. I think that's true too. If I were to say if there's a new wave of business, your personal brand is the most important thing that you could focus on right now, because it's never been so easy to gain exposure. And all you need is a product or a skill set, and it could be easily monetized. Moving on to our third and final question.
Boom.
This one's for you, Earon.
Okay.
This is from my little brother, Joey.
Okay.
And he wanted to ask you, he said, what was something that you did when you were working acquisitions that helped you get more deals than the other people that were doing acquisitions with?
Oh, I love this question. This is easy. I can go into just about any acquisition team anywhere in the United States of America, and I could become the number one selling acquisition agent there. Q has that same ability if he wanted to. And I also have the ability to go in and latch on to one person and make them the number one producing acquisition person. And here's why. It's an understanding of formula, right, when it comes to sales. And it's understanding the numbers. One thing that I did, just super simple and right off the bat, is I understood my ratio. Like, I knew how many people I needed to talk to in order to have a conversation. I knew how many conversations I need to have in order to get a contract. I know how many contracts I need to get a closing, right? And I knew what my average closing size was. To this day, I know these numbers. Like, I know that on our outbound outreach, it takes 50 leads to get a contract. And I know that for my acquisition people, in order for them to generate one contract a week, they need to be doing 5 offers a day to get a minimum of a contract a week, right? On my team. So that means, Joey, or whoever can benefit from this, especially you solo operators right now, when you're doing your most highest and valuable activity in your business, it's focus on that activity alone for long extended hours of a time, at a time, whether that be 3 to 4 hours or whatever your attention span allows you to do. Some people legitimately can't hack it. If you're an acquisition person, that's 3 to 4 hours of uninterrupted time, where in the beginning of the shift is normally when I would like it for my acquisition people to be focusing only on new business and making as many offers as humanly possible, right? If you do that and increase those numbers, it is inevitable for you to be able to get more contracts. By the way, this applies to anything in business. Let's say you're selling life insurance, right? Let's say it's how many cold people I call lead me. If I need to call 10 people in order to get one conversation, I need to talk to 8 people in order to get one appointment, and I need to run 3 appointments in order to get one insurance sale. Like, the reality is, if you do something enough times, a ratio will appear. So whatever that front end behavior it is, do more of that one thing, and your numbers will increase and compound over time. It will not even be funny how you run laps around everybody else in your office.
I love that, man. You know, I always focus so heavily on creating the process for me too. Like, because you have your own process. I had my own too. And I don't think that there's not enough people that are doing it process mindset. Like, a lot of people, they get it with the mindset, I'm just going to make more calls for the outcome. I'm just going to blast through as many leads as I can. If I cold call 10,000 leads today, I'm going to get a sale out of one of them in a week, you know? And so for me, you know, again, like, you can't scale if you've never tracked the metrics.
Facts.
And so essentially what you'll notice is that there's just a lot of people who bottleneck themselves just trying to go through the day-to-day process without looking at the numbers.
Yep.
And so if you're really trying to be like a good acquisition person, let's say you're acquiring people for car sales or real estate deals for the company or anything, right? Because it's universal in business. It really starts with understanding your numbers. Because once you have the mathematical equation down, then there's no point in doubting whether or not this works, because then you realize that 1,000 leads means 100 people that are interested. 100 people that are interested means 10 contracts get signed. 10 contracts that get signed means one guy actually funds.
Yep.
And so when you have this ratio of numbers, then that means that every single time you repeat this formula of effort and you duplicate that, then you can get that many deals closed.
I've always subconsciously done this. Like, whenever I broke my teeth in sales, door to door, it was excruciatingly grueling to knock on a door and sell energy, and like to know that the rejection that's coming is face to face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what I would do is I did this game where for every no that I got, I would just mark a tally. Because what would happen is eventually, no matter what, if I kept knocking, I would make a sale. It was like inevitable. It's crazy. inevitably I would make a sale. And what I would do is the game was to count how many no's I had to get through in order to get to the sell. So it actually made me start associating the rejection and the no with pleasure, because of like, I can't wait to get this next no, because I know that it's just one step closer to the left, to the yes. And at scale, after a day of doing that and a week of doing that and tracking it, I start to see averages that play out consistently as patterns. And Tony Robbins teaches this, and a lot of high-level coaches teach this, that the most successful people are nothing more than people with the ability to discern patterns faster than other people, right? And so, like Q says, once you start tracking those numbers, even if it's in a very elementary way, I was doing it on my hand and then putting it on a little notebook paper at the end of a week. But that gave me an advantage over all the other people in my office who didn't know their numbers and were just like grinding. For me, it allowed me to be very intentional. I'm that same way whenever it comes to marketing posts. I want to know how did this perform? What numbers did this do? What's hitting? You know what I mean? What's not? And split testing. And this also plays into failure and dealing with failure, because for me, and I'm sure you're this way as well, failure for me doesn't get me discouraged. I'm just like, okay, cool. Now I know what doesn't work on the way to the objective, right? Yep. And I have to do that. I have to split test. I have to try things. I have to take risks, and I'm okay going through all of the trash in order to get there. You know what I mean? So
Earon and I, we've gone to the gym to work out a few times, you know, and we're both competitive even in the gym. We were lifting like crazy last time we were there. Yep. We were maxing out sets. Mm-hmm. And so the main reason why we were doing that was not because it was also a competitive nature, which that does play a part. Yep. So if you're in a sales team, you should be looking at your people all of the time. Like, you should be sizing up the individuals that you're competing with, specifically if they're taking inbound lead flow that is from the same marketing that is being put out there by the organization that you're a part of. You know, so look at competitors, even if you're not in an organization and it's just you, then make me and Earon competitors for you, right? But one of the things that I appreciated was the last time that I've ever worked out with Earon, we lifted until failure. Yep. And it was intentional how we failed. Because when we fail, you rip muscle tendons, right? These fibers in your body start tearing. And when that happens, it grows back stronger. Yep. And next thing you know, that weight gets a lot lighter. Yep. And so that's what it's like when you're going through these numbers and you're calling and you're getting these no's. You got to be intentional with getting the no. Because when you are intentional and you're doing this through failure, essentially what you're doing is just building yourself into a stronger individual who can handle that kind of weight. And then you increase the intensity. Yep. That's the only way that you get further, you know? And so that's one of the things that I love so much about sales. This is a mindset thing. I think it's a mindset thing, and it's also a math thing. Like, you got to really track your stuff. You can't scale it if you can't track it. That's the reality of it. So the question, to answer the question, Joey, just make sure that you're tracking what you're doing. Yep. Because your numbers and what you do on a day-to-day basis tells the story of the outcome.
Facts. That's gonna help you as a leader. That's gonna help you in every aspect of your life and your career. 100%.
Dude, this was a phenomenal episode, man.
Facts. Big facts.
Guys, if y'all enjoyed this episode, make sure y'all leave some comments. Make sure you guys go to Ask Quentin Flores. There's going to be a section there for questions you can ask Earon. And there's also going to be places where you can follow both of us on social media. And there's a section there where you can ask me questions as well. And then if you have questions for both of us, there'll be a section for you there too. So make sure you guys go to AskQuentinFlores.com and submit your questions for the show. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Let's get it.